Power Rangers costumes are important, and this is a combination of the costume and the helmet, as both have different characteristics that make them unique. Even on this channel we had to make 2 separate videos in order to define the best helmets and the best costumes among all the teams. Today's top is a little different, as we are going to look for the Rangers separately that have the best suits, but this will also include their helmet, shield, and all the details that have their image in general. In the other videos we could not include many special Rangers because many of them do not have the same costume as the rest of the team, and that is why in this video, we will talk about the Rangers separately, although there are costumes that the whole team has. Number 10. Magna Defender. This special Ranger has the most different costume in the whole franchise, since it doesn't look like anything we've seen before, and all his clothes doesn't look like a Ranger's but like a medieval knight. This is one of the few costumes in which the helmet combines perfectly with the rest, and, if we put them separately, we could quickly identify that the helmet is from that particular costume. His horns give him a more aggressive and menacing style to let his enemies know to be afraid of him. Even when you look at this Ranger you might get confused and not know if he is a hero or a villain. On his chest he has that hexagon that makes him look like a mystical being, and because his costume looks medieval, then this combination between the past and the future makes him look magical. Number 9. Megaforce Team. As I said before, sometimes the entire team has the same costume, and the helmets are so similar that we can't choose a specific Ranger only. In the case of Megaforce, all the colors look great with this style of suit and helmet, so I decided to include the whole team in the list. The suit that I like is the Megaforce 1, the one with white pants, and because of this color combination the Rangers stand out a lot. In this combination we can see the white color, the black color in some areas, the gold color in almost all the details, and the specific color of each Ranger. The theme of this series is pirates, and I think they knew how to represent this very well in the costumes. The helmets are also spectacular and go very well with the costume. Number 8. Mighty Morphin Green and White Ranger. In this position I must do something a little special, since the same Ranger has had 3 of the best costumes in the entire history of the franchise, and in order not to repeat, then I decided to include all those costumes in this same position. Tommy Oliver started with the green suit, which was very special because of the shield and the shape of his helmet. Both of those things are iconic, especially the shield, which is the most famous shield in the whole franchise. Then, he started wearing the white suit, which has a helmet that represents his theme very well, and the shield has also become iconic among fans of the series. The best thing about this suit is the combination of colors, since the white color with all those details in gold color and some things in black color to complement are one of the best combinations that we can see. In the 3rd season he started to use the ninjetti suit, which you already know is my favorite, and here we can include the whole team since only the color changes. This suit represents the theme perfectly and has a unique style that separates itself from the rest of the Rangers in the whole franchise. Number 7. SPD Shadow Ranger. This is one of the most impressive suits we have seen in the last 30 years, and the material looks different. It does not seem to be the typical spandex suit, and it has many details that are made of another material. I really like the color combination, and the black color with the red details are impressive, but that blue color gives it the superhero style. The helmet looks spectacular, and the entire design is worthy of a very powerful Ranger. Number 6. Cat Ranger from SPD. In this same SPD team there is the Cat Ranger, which has a white and orange outfit with black accents. There is always a debate between the color designation of this Ranger, since the video games place her as an orange Ranger and the comics as a white Ranger, but in the series, this was never specified. The important thing is that this costume is spectacular, The helmet has a great style that represents her feline theme very well, and the colors match very well. Number 5. Lunar Wolf Ranger from Wild Force. The best thing about this costume is the helmet, as we can say that it is one of the best designs we have been able to see in the entire franchise. The helmet perfectly represents the theme of the series and also its animal, which is obviously the wolf. That silver color represents the colors that wolves normally have, and the entire costume design is also spectacular. Number 4. White Ranger from Wild Force. This Ranger's helmet is also one of the best Power Rangers helmets out there, and I'm sure every fan has it on their list of best helmets. The color scheme is spectacular, as she is a white ranger but has pink accents that give that feminine style to the entire design. The helmet perfectly represents the theme of the series, and you can clearly see the design of her animal. The gold color has always combined perfectly with the white color, so this ranger has one of the best combinations and designs in the whole franchise. Number 3. White Ranger of Mystic Force. We know there are a lot of White Rangers on this list, but the reality is that this Ranger's costume couldn't be left out of this top. From the first moment you look at this Ranger, you can tell that she represents a mystic being, and you can easily recognize that she must have a lot of power or a special power. The helmet of this Ranger is full of mystery, but being a white-colored suit, it inspires you enough confidence to have peace. The shield of this costume is very original, and the snowflake symbol on the helmet gives us some detail of her powers. Number 2. Zeo's Gold Ranger. In this case, I don't care which Ranger used this costume, the important thing is that the whole costume is spectacular, and we must accept that it must be among the best costumes in every fan's list. The color scheme is simple, black with gold details, and that gold color is quite shiny. The design of his shield is one of my favorites, as it perfectly represents the theme of this season, and the gold knee pads is something quite original. This Ranger's helmet has also been very iconic in the franchise, and for all these reasons this costume is one of the best we've seen. Number 1. Dino Thunder's White Ranger. From the first time I saw this costume, I couldn't believe how awesome and stunning this costume is, and there's no way anyone can say that it's not one of the best costumes in the entire history of Power Rangers. The entire design makes him look like a super powerful and wild ranger, plus the color scheme is perfect. It may seem a bit simple since it only has white, black, gold, and red, but the impressive thing about the combinations is knowing how to put the colors in the right places. The red helmet visor makes him look very menacing, and obviously we must remember that this Ranger started out as a villain, so the suit is perfect for being an evil Ranger as well. The shield matches perfectly with the entire costume, and I like that the white color is from the helmet to his boots without interruption. The best thing about this costume is all those spikes that represent dinosaur teeth, and the most amazing thing is that they are all over the costume. There are so many options and so many spectacular costumes, that's why this list was so hard to make. The Power Rangers are known for having a variety of awesome weapons and incredible outfits that fill them with power after each transformation. Still, there are times when this isn't enough, and sometimes Rangers have to resort to something extra. For these difficult moments, some Rangers have the possibility of using special armor that helps them with more power, more weapons, and more protection. These armors are called battlizers, and in this video we are going to present you with the best 10 in the entire history of the franchise. What I'm looking for in all of these armors is for them to be powerful, look good, and actually be useful. As I always say, this is my opinion, and I invite you to write your favorite battleizers in the comments. Number 10. Tri-Battleized Armor by Ninja Storm. The first thing to say is that this armor has two modes, The first one is ground mode and the second one is flight mode. Let's talk about the flight mode since it is the most complete and dynamic. This armor is used by the Red Ranger and has a design with a falcon symbol, wings, and some parts in gold color. This armor provides a sword and a small shield in the hand. The advantage that this armor gives to the Ranger is that it increases his speed and strength, besides having a very powerful laser final attack. Unfortunately, this armor has very little resistance since Lothur could easily destroy it. Number 9. Triassic Battlizer by Dino Thunder. This armor is used by the Red Ranger and has a spectacular color combination in its design. This armor gives the Ranger a greater elasticity to be able to fight with greater mobility. In addition, it has two cannons on its shoulders that have a great final attack that destroys everything. The good thing about this armor is that it has several powerful attacks in addition to those two cannons. Number 8. Super Megaforce Gold Mode of Super Megaforce. This armor is used by the Silver Ranger of Super Megaforce, and it is important to say that this is the 6th Ranger of this season. With this armor, the Silver Ranger can combine the power of all the 6th Rangers that existed before him. His weapon becomes an anchor and has the power to make a final attack called Legendary Final Strike, which is very powerful as it contains the energy of all those Rangers from the past. The only downside of this armor is that its design could have been better. Number 7. Red Battle Warrior from Time Force. This armor is used by the Red Ranger, Wes. I want to start by highlighting the design of this armor. All the elements it has plus the color schemes look excellent. This is one of the few armors that gives the Ranger extra protection on the helmet. The giant sword of this armor can create a circle of fire that turns into an impressive final attack. The best thing about this armor is that it gives the Ranger a lot of protection. Number 6. Red Battleized Armor by In Space. This armor is used by the Red Ranger and was the first Battlizer armor shown in Power Rangers. With this armor, the Ranger has more strength, more weapons, and the ability to fly. It includes very powerful missiles and a force field for a more secure protection. This armor can increase the strength of the Ranger as it has robotic parts that can be seen in the chest, besides having a system in the head to aim better and never miss. Number 5. Red Sentinel Ranger from Operation Overdrive. This armor is used by the Red Ranger, and even though this series is one of the worst in the whole franchise, they did it right. We can start with the awesome design that this armor has with its gold-colored parts. It has two powerful swords that can shoot energy blasts. The best thing about this armor is its final attack, as it can create a tornado, and after several slashes there is an explosion that destroys any enemy. Number 4. Shogun Mode of Super Samurai. What I like the most about this armor is that all the Rangers of the team have the opportunity to use it after reaching the highest level of mastery of its symbolic power. This armor comes from the ancestors, and only 3 Rangers could use it in the series: the Red Ranger, the Pink Ranger, and the Blue Ranger. The design of this armor is an impeccable combination of what a true samurai and a Power Ranger is. The power of this armor is so impressive that there can only be one Ranger at a time with this transformation. Number 3. Dino Knight Mode of Dino Fury. This armor gives extra protection all over the Ranger's body, but due to its design the Ranger still has a great ease of movement. With this armor the Ranger increases his power and strength as he can fight much more powerful enemies. The final blow that the Ranger can give is so powerful that it needs a lot of energy and can only be done once, but when the enemy receives this attack is out of combat. Although this armor was used by the Red Ranger, it can also be used by other Rangers, and the key was used by Void Knight to create his armor. Number 2, Red Dragon Fire Ranger of Mystic Force. This armor is used by the Red Ranger and has wings that can be stored like birds do. This allows the Ranger to fly, when necessary, but also to fight with better movement and ease without the wings becoming a bother. The design and colors of this armor is one of the best in the history of the franchise. It has 2 powerful staffs to launch different attacks including fires, lightning and spells. Number 1, SPD Battlizer Sonic Mode by SPD. This very powerful armor used by the Red Ranger is one of the most complete as it is combined with one of the best weapons ever, the Rick Dog. This robotic dog becomes a protective armor that is divided into several parts to protect different parts of the Ranger's body. In addition to this, the head and spine become a powerful sword. This armor gives more strength and speed to the Ranger, plus its final move is that the sword can launch energy blasts to destroy or trap the enemy. The design of this armor is very intimidating and is still very much in accordance with the theme of the series, that is of police. In these 30 years of history the franchise has presented us with many Power Rangers, but there are some that have stood out for some details, and because of this, they have managed to change history forever. These details are not only things that have been achieved in the history of the series, but also in the history of the franchise because they have achieved a change in the fans. I want to start with the best known of all, and obviously, Tommy Oliver, which remains the most famous Ranger in the history of Power Rangers. This character was the first evil Ranger, and so far, he is the longest continuously leading Ranger. His leadership began as the White Ranger in the 2nd season of Mighty Morphin and ended in episode number 19 of the Turbo season, which gives us a total of 138 episodes. Obviously, this is not counting the 10 episodes of Alien Rangers, since that season is considered part of Season 3 and is named as a mini-series within the original series. Another record that this character has is that he has appeared in 8 different seasons and is the Ranger who has appeared in the most episodes, surpassing 235 episodes. Besides this, he is also the Ranger with more color changes, since he has used green, white, red twice, and black, which was his last color. He has been the first in several things, such as being the first Ranger to become a mentor, the first Green Ranger, the first White Ranger, the first Ranger to use red in 2 different teams, and the first leader of a team that was not red, although later he started to use it. All these records are incredible, but the best thing that Tommy Oliver has is the confidence that he provokes in people, since everyone wants to follow him, and because of this, he has become the legendary Ranger. The next Ranger in this list is Kendrix Morgan, the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, and the Ranger who gave her life to save everyone. All Rangers risk their lives constantly, but Kendrix decided to sacrifice herself in order to save everyone, and this is one of the most impressive things a Ranger has done in the entire history of the franchise. This character is so important that Hasbro recently released his new action figure, even though Lost Galaxy products are not the best sellers. Many mention Kendrix in their list as one of the favorite Rangers, and her personality won the hearts of fans. After the death of this Ranger, the story changed so much that the power was given to Coroni, who was a villain and is also Andra's sister. Speaking of Andras, this ranger is next on the list and was the Red Ranger of the In Space season. This ranger made history because of his bravery, his leadership, and all his ranger skills. Obviously, what made this ranger change history was the destruction of Zordon, because even though it seems like an easy thing to do, it really isn't, since Zordon has always been like a father to all the rangers, and this was basically like having to destroy a beloved family member. All of us fans know about this event, and it has marked a before and after in the history of the franchise. Even in the last season they mentioned this event, since Zordon's shockwave has been something that marked the life of the whole universe, including the villains. Even though Zordon is the protagonist of this event, that would not have been achieved without Andras, since he was the one who had the courage to break the tube and save the universe. Andras' influence on Power Rangers fans is so great that we can say that he may be one of the most famous Red Rangers in history, and his weapon is one of the most loved by fans. The next ranger is Amelia, the first Red Ranger to be for a full season, and we must emphasize this as many fans still do not understand this concept. There have been other leading female rangers for a full season, but none are red. We have also had red female rangers who have also been leaders, but not for a full season. So, Amelia has been the first female ranger to be a leader for a full season using the color red. I hope you have understood this and are not writing the wrong things in the comments. We should give credit to this ranger, as she started out as the first pink ranger we saw in her season and ended up being a red ranger leading her team. Opinions are divided, but I loved Amelia's participation as a Red Ranger, and I think she did an excellent job delivering blows with that hammer. The next ranger belongs to that same Dino Fury team, and we can't leave out Zyto, the first ranger with that color that no one can decide the name. This ranger is possibly the first ranger in the history of the Power Rangers universe, since for now, no one knows if the Rangers started before this event, when the Morphin Masters gave the power to Zyto and his team. This also makes him the first Red Ranger and team leader in the entire history of the Power Rangers timeline. Let's remember that I'm not talking about our actual timeline, since obviously the first Ranger we saw in 1993 was Jason, but I'm talking about the Power Rangers universe timeline. Another impressive thing that Zyto did is that he is the only ranger in history to become a Morphin Master, and so far, no one knows how it happened, but it is suspected that it was thanks to Zordon. Next on the list is Billy, the Blue Ranger from Mighty Morphin, who also appeared in Cosmic Fury as the mentor of that team. This ranger is so well known that we don't have to dwell too much on his story, but we can say that he has achieved such a great impact that this power has reached outside the TV series. The actor who plays this character has been so important that he got them to create the special episode, and even though they did not want to use the script he had written, we all know that the whole episode was thanks to his idea. Billy is the second ranger with more appearances in episodes, surpassing 200 episodes, and he was the only ranger of the original team that was in the whole Mighty Morphin series. The last ranger on this list is Justin, the Blue Ranger from Power Rangers Turbo, and I apologize for not showing his picture as a child, since YouTube changes all the video settings when children appear. The reality is that this ranger started in the Turbo movie to replace Rocky, who had hurt his back and could no longer help his team. In the series, this event is not so important, even though it was rare, but outside of the series it was awesome for the fans. Some loved this decision to turn a kid into a ranger, and others hated it as they say it is something absurd. The production said at the time that they wanted a child to become a Power Ranger so that the child audience would feel that they could be a ranger and feel more connected to the series. Obviously, this didn't work out for them because Turbo has been one of the most hated series by many fans, but I don't think Justin's was the reason for this. One of the most important things in Power Rangers is the theme of each season, as that will define the style of most things. The costumes, the Zords, the powers, the transformations, the weapons, and many other things will be driven by the theme. Let's make a list of the top 10 themes in my opinion, but first we should mention that Power Rangers doesn't choose the themes, as that comes from Sentai. Since this list will be based on my opinion, I invite you to mention your top 10 themes in the comments. Number 10. Power Rangers Zeo is one of my favorite themes, and it is based on ancient civilization. That's why they use pyramids, gold, and textures similar to the stone drawings that come from those civilizations. It is a little sad that the Power Rangers costumes are so basic, since a style like this could have been squeezed much more, and this was demonstrated with the designs made by the designer Tokujay. Here we can see that the artist managed to capture all the essence of this theme, and we can see how amazing this style really is. Besides the theme of the ancient civilization, they also mix some things based on Zeo crystals, and that is why the helmets have those geometric figures. Number 9. Power Rangers RPM has a theme of cars and speed. We know that Turbo season also has this same theme, but we must admit that RPM knew how to take better advantage of it. One of the things I like the most about this style that RPM has are the belts on the suits, as they are identical to the belts used by professional car racers. In addition, the suits also have some wheels in various places, and all this creates a great combination. Despite all those awesome details, I think the best of all are the blasters, as it is the same thing we use to fuel the cars, and I think that was an excellent idea. Number 8. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but we are going to refer to the first season since here the initial theme is more marked. Although many think that the style of this season is dinosaurs, the reality is that it is based on prehistoric animals. In this season we can see the Tyrannosaurus, but we can also see the Mastodon, which is not a dinosaur. Although the costume design has nothing of the prehistoric animal style, the helmets do have this style. My favorite part of this season's theme is the Zords, as it completely captures the style of the animals and machines. Number 7. Power Rangers SPD has become the favorite season for many fans, and one of the reasons is because of its theme based on cops. When we were kids, many of us wanted to become policemen, and they are the first heroes who risk their lives to save others. That is why this style works very well for a children's series, and in this season they knew how to take advantage of this theme very well. The Zords, the costumes, the command center, the ranks, and even the way in which they catch the villains has a marked police style. Number 6. Power Rangers Mystic Force is based on magic and natural elements. I know that many will criticize me for including this season in this list since many did not like this season, but the reality is that I am a big fan of magic. Another thing I should mention is that creating a theme based on magic is very complex, since you can create something ridiculous for superheroes. Normally, in superhero stories the wizards are almost always the villains, and we have seen that many times in Power Rangers. However, in this season the Rangers also use the magic style, and everything looks amazing. Number 5. In this position we are going to mention Power Rangers Wild Force and Jungle Fury because they have a very similar theme. Both seasons have a different style, but their themes are based on wild animals. Obviously, each season has different things, but the basic style is wild animals, and because both seasons knew how to use this style well, then I must mention both of them. From the helmets, the Zords, the costumes, and everything that involves these two seasons, they have a spectacular style. Number 4. Power Rangers Ninja Storm. The only thing wrong with its theme is the season logo, but everything else is amazing. The style of this series is a combination of ninja and atmospheric natural phenomena. This includes winds, tornadoes, storms, thunderstorms, and many other things. I think this theme was a great combination since the power of nature is one of the most impressive things in real life, and the way they combined all this with the ninja style was perfect. Number 3. Power Rangers Dino Thunder. And in this season we can already talk about dinosaurs. We know that there are other seasons that also used dinosaurs as a theme, but in my opinion I think Dino Thunder used this style better, and that's why I don't include the other seasons. I have even previously said that the costumes of this series are among the best costumes of the entire franchise, and this is partly due to the style of the series. By the way, a curious fact about this season is that they never had a Pink Ranger. However, in the comic Power Rangers Unlimited of the Morphin Masters, the emissary that accompanies Kimberly was transformed into the Pink Ranger of Dino Thunder, and it can be seen in the logo on her chest. Number 2. In this position we are going to talk about a small controversy, and it is that the series that I want to include here is Megaforce, but I am also going to mention Super Megaforce. Let's explain this as briefly as possible, and that is that Megaforce is based on angels and Super Megaforce is based on pirates. However, Saban wanted to ignore the theme of Super Megaforce, even though in Sentai this is the style it has. To understand this better, in Sentai, Megaforce is one team and Super Megaforce is a different team. This is why both seasons in Sentai are different, but in Power Rangers they decided to merge them, and this is why they had so many strange changes. The controversy of all this is bigger, but we must continue with the video and mention that both themes are awesome. Number 1. In the third season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers everything changed, and the Rangers started with a different ninja style. This theme has always been my favorite, and I can't hide my love for the costumes the Rangers used. Although there are other seasons based on ninjas, I think the Mighty Morphin costumes with the ninjetti power were the ones that best captured the essence of the real ninjas. Normally, ninjas use black in their costumes since they must not be seen by their enemy, but since this is a fantasy series, it was spectacular to be able to see these costumes with different colors. Each Ranger achieves a different connection with the Morphin grid, and each Morpher is different since some are just to achieve a transformation and others are used as weapons. In addition to this, each Power Rangers saga has its own style to make morph, and today I am going to mention the 10 best transformations. Number 10. Let's start with the most obvious of all, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We start with this morph since every good Power Rangers fan knows that this morph should be on any list, but let's face it, we only like this morph for nostalgia. If you started watching Power Rangers since Mighty Morphin, you're sure to get goosebumps just listening to the music. It's a feeling of excitement that energizes your body and makes you want to jump up and down and do the morph yourself as well. But if we are honest, this morphosis is one of the simplest. They just grabbed their morpher, put it to the front and mentioned their animal, while with some pretty simple effects they transformed into the glorious Power Rangers. At the end, they would appear spinning to finish with a pose. We can't criticize the special effects too much or evaluate them with so much detail since it was 1993 and the special effects for those times were not as good as they are now. Only a few movies managed to stand out with great digital effects, and they needed a huge budget, which the Power Rangers series did not have. Even so, the theme song used by the mighty Morphin can be considered the best or one of the best, but we'll talk about that in another video. Number 9. Now let's switch to Power Rangers Jungle Fury, one of the fiercest morphs in the entire franchise. The Ranger puts on his morpher goggles and makes wild ninja-style moves. Along with his moves you can see an energy being created and his background changes to a jungle. Then we see his wild animal come out and then the transformation is complete with more wild moves and effects. This is a morph that fits very well with the theme of that season. Number 8. We'll continue with Power Rangers SPD. This is a morph that for some reason many like, and it is one of those that instills greater authority. His morpher opens and creates a hologram image of the suit while the background is like a tunnel that moves very fast. The Ranger with a jump transforms and first appears with the suit on, and then, in a great sequence, appears his helmet to finish standing on top of the SPD emblem and gives several movements. Number 7. Now let's enter the storm with Power Rangers Ninja Storm, where they begin a morph by entering a storm to then see how his clothes explode and his suit appears. Then his helmet appears in parts to finish with an excellent pose. In HTE background appears the nature powers of each Ranger with their insignia. This morph is worthy of its name and makes you feel that you have the power of nature on your side, and you are ready to fight. Number 6. The Power Rangers Dino Thunder morph is one that combines the background effects with the transformation very well. This morph has a lot of fury, energy, and feels powerful despite looking simple. They start by activating their morpher to then have a white suit with their emblem in the center. Then they take turns as their suit color is pieced together. Now comes my favorite part as they fall on a rock that breaks and lava comes out. Their helmet appears and, in the background, their Zord appears in an exciting way with various explosion effects. Number 5. Hearing the name Power Rangers Mystic Force, it is hard to imagine what a morpher will be like since it is a name that has nothing tangible, but this morpher they did very well. They open their morpher which launches a power into the sky, the ring opens from which their power comes out and they enter through the ring. This completes the transformation of the suit and then the helmet to finish with a pose and their cape billowing. Number 4. Now, we need concentration as we will become Power Rangers Samurai who use their morpher to write their symbols in front of them and then appear in a background with many symbols floating around. Those same symbols create like a small tornado around them, transforming them with their costume. Then comes the best part, their sword comes flying in, they catch it and put it away to put their disc on it and then take it out to pose. Number 3. Now let's stop playing games and let's see Power Rangers Beast Morphers. In this amazing morph they turn on their morpher and then enter the key and start the transformation. Then, my favorite part, comes a big tornado that tucks them in and out of the tornado, and from the tornado an animal comes out in a very fierce way. At the end comes out their helmet and from their morpher comes out the helmet visor to finish the morph in style. Number 2. In this list we must include Power Rangers Wild Force. This morpher, besides having a great theme song, also has a good sequence. It starts with its morpher turning into each Ranger's animal and then into a warrior. The morpher explodes and out comes the transformed Ranger to then give to the final part, which is the best as the helmet comes in a somewhat wild way with good effects to complete the morph. Number 1. Let's end this list with one of the latest morphs of the franchise, and that is Power Rangers Dino Fury. This morph has become one of my favorites as it recreates a connection to the Morphin grid. This morph begins by turning his morpher around to activate it, and then the action begins. The background changes and the Ranger hit the ground, which is destroyed and raises a grid of energy that begins to envelop the Ranger. This grid coalesces and forms each Ranger's dinosaur. Then comes my favorite part, and I think that is what makes this morph so good, and that is when the Ranger begins to float in the Morphin grid. The Morphin grid wraps around the Ranger and transforms him in an epic way. In the end, comes the helmet that joins in the middle, and the Ranger finishes by pulling out his sword. Although I also like Cosmic Fury's transformation a lot, I didn't put it on this list because it looks too much like Dino Fury's transformation. Each morphosis has its own magic, and each one provokes a different feeling depending on the music, the energy, and how connected you are with the series at that moment. If your favorite morphosis is not on this list, mention it in the comments. Superhero weapons are one of the most important things, and in fantasy universes these weapons are not normal. They are exotic weapons that have a great visual impact, and their powers are spectacular. Previously, we had already made a list of the most powerful weapons, so this video is not about the most powerful weapons, but about the most spectacular weapons, judging it in another way. The weapons that I am going to include on this list are those that make me want to have them because of how spectacular they look and how powerful they can seem. In this list I'm not going to put them in order, so I'm just going to mention the 10 weapons I like the most from the entire history of Power Rangers. Number 10. Golden Power Staff from Zeo's Gold Ranger. This weapon, besides being very powerful, has a very original design that combines very well with the Ranger who carries it. The gold color highlights the most important parts of the weapon, and the thing I like most is its size, because it can be easy to carry. At the top it has that red sphere that makes us think that it is a magical object, and the symbol that has above gives the Egyptian style that the season has. The part where it is held also has the same style, and the most special thing about it is that the top part opens to be able to throw the power. Number 9. Hydro Bow of the Blue Ranger of Samurai. This bow is very different from any bow we have seen, and it does not have the normal parts that any other bow can have. For this bow, no arrows are needed, and it has something to hold it very firmly to be able to shoot the laser beams. The entire design is spectacular and creates a lot of intrigue when we look at it because it does not look like something normal. Another thing is that since it is blue in color, then this transforms it into a weapon full of fantasy, and this causes the whole design to be transformed into something mystical. Number 8. Jungle Blade of the White Ranger of Jungle Fury. Previously, we had already talked about this weapon, and it is one of the most powerful we have seen in the history of the franchise. Besides being very powerful, it also has a spectacular and very original design. This weapon has many functions, but the most impressive is that its design allows the Ranger to use it more easily by being able to put his hand inside the weapon. This weapon comes from the Rhino Morpher, which transforms into the Jungle Blade and starts to look very threatening. This weapon looks very sharp, and its colors make it look very wild. Number 7. Snow Staff from the White Ranger of Mystic Force. This scepter has the style of a queen, but the power of a mystic being, and its design shows both. I really like that it matches very well with the Ranger using this weapon, and the snowflake design looks spectacular. I also like the design of the top that has gold color, as it is what gives it that style of a European queen. The dial on the top also gives it the mystical style it needs to match the seasonal theme very well. Number 6. Stego Spike Axe from Cosmic Fury's Black Ranger. This axe has one of the most impressive styles I've ever seen on a weapon, and it has so many spectacular details. Let's start with the bottom part, where it has the head of a dinosaur with gold color and red eyes. The top design with all those sharp parts makes it look very striking and modern. I really like the color combination, which obviously matches perfectly with this Cosmic Ranger. A special part of this weapon is that it has the Power Rangers symbol on it, and this gives it a unique detail, although the other weapons of this season also have it. The whole design of the axe gives it a very futuristic style, and being such a slim weapon, it gives very good mobility to the Ranger. Number 5. Super Silver Spear of the Super Megaforce Silver Ranger. This weapon that looks like a trident reminds me a lot of the gods of Olympus, and it is that the theme of this season is pirates. This weapon combines perfectly with this theme, but I think its design is elevated to a higher level because instead of looking like a pirate weapon, it looks like the weapon of a god. Its colors match perfectly, and best of all, it can be transformed. The other transformation that I really like is the Super Gold Spear, and although it looks like a simple transformation, it changes the entire style. Now instead of looking like a trident, it looks like an anchor, and this makes us feel that it is a very strong weapon with which you can take down any powerful villain. Number 4. Lion Hammer of the Yellow Ranger of Ninja Storm. This hammer, which causes earthquakes, has a very powerful design, as its colors make us feel that it is a very heavy real hammer. I think the metal-colored parts are the ones that make us feel that it is a very heavy weapon and can cause a lot of damage if you get hit. Despite this, the yellow color gives it that sense of fantasy in which we can recognize that it is a magical weapon and that it has another power besides just hitting. What I like the most about this weapon is that it is one of the weapons that would scare me the most if I saw an enemy trying to use it. Number 3. Shark Sword of the Red Ranger of Super Samurai. This shark-headed sword comes from the spin sword, and even though that weapon is pretty standard, transforming into the shark sword takes it to another level. From the first time I saw this weapon in action, I was impressed, and its design is super wild. The shark head makes it look very menacing, and its colors help a lot in this. The shark teeth on this sword are something that makes a big impact, as it is something you don't want to encounter in a battle. This sword has such a spectacular design that it has become one of the most famous weapons in the entire history of the franchise. Number 2. Saba of the Mighty Morphin White Ranger. Saba is the sword that has the best design among all the Power Rangers swords, and the addition of the tiger's head was something very original. Obviously, this head has a purpose, and that is that this sword is a living being. If this sword had no life, even so, having that tiger head makes it look spectacular. In addition to this, this tiger head also has a protective helmet in gold color, and that is what gives it a unique style. I really like that the White Ranger symbol is part of this sword, and I also like that its blade is short, so it doesn't cover the entire sword. Saba is possibly the most famous weapon in the entire franchise, and this is for obvious reasons. Number 1. Ankilo Hammer from the Red Ranger of Cosmic Fury. From the first day I saw this hammer, I wanted to have it, and this is what I look for every weapon on this list to provoke. When a weapon makes you want to own it, then its design is so inspiring that you feel the need for it to be part of your collection. This hammer is one of the best weapons ever built in the history of Power Rangers, and I'm so happy they did it this season because it proves that Power Rangers production can create excellent weapons. The entire design makes us feel all the power that this hammer has, and even before the series premiered, we could already know that this hammer was going to cause a lot of damage. The red color makes it look like an explosive weapon, and being a hammer, then this combination makes us understand that it has a lot of energy. What I like the most are all the little details it has and the way they manage to mix both colors. Write in the comments your list of the top 10 weapons, like this video and subscribe for more powerful Power Rangers weapons.